guys, we're on a week break, and you know where we're sitting? We are sitting on top of the hill in Austin, Texas, looking down. It looks amazing and epic, and joining me in the commentary box, as usual, is Jonathan Six.
Hello.
And next to him is the epic Eric Roben. Hello, sir.
Hello, guys. It's a pleasure to be here.
Considering you've had an all right season so far, besides some blips in Australia, how do you think you've done?
Well, to be honest, it was a bit disappointing. I mean, Melbourne, of course, I was not prepared for those changeable conditions, and we just have to adapt to the game. And the weather system is really tricky on this game compared to 2011, so that caused some hiccups. And I think Malaysia and China were okay, but I'm still disappointed that I just left out on the podium so far in these first four races.
That's true. I mean, in 2011, you didn't really have to worry about a wet setup because the dry would translate to the wet quite easily. But on certain tracks, do you have to set the car up expecting the wet? For example, Silverstone, for example, would you go into that race thinking, I need to make sure my setup can do both?
Yeah, of course, we will have a look at the weather report at the start of the race, but I find it really hard to judge which setup works best, and I usually tend to go for a high downforce setup when there's chance of rain, just to be on the safe side, and to get some more stability on the rear end, especially.
It's good. That's the top tip. Anyway, right, let's move on to Formula One, and let's look at qualifying. As you can see, the results now on your screen. Now, Eric, would you like to take us through, because you were part of this race, so take us through the qualifying results?
Okay, sure. It's TNG Platinum with pole position, a good lap by him, and we actually had to restart the qualifying session as we all got disconnected, it seemed, at the first try. So this was actually the second try, and I was a bit lucky to get second place here with the 1:30.8, as I thought two other guys did a 1:30.5 in the first session we did. But anyway, it's so solid in third place, followed by Greg Don't Lie, the first time he doesn't get pole position this season, and Red Tabor in fifth, Indrexen, the Holy Sam, Tadger, Gonna Gamble, Kex, and Bessa completing the grid in 11th place.
That's quite interesting. Down very, very low down. Did he say any reason why his qualifying results were so low? Did he mention anything then?
No, I'm not sure, but I think as we look at the qualifying results, all the drivers are just separated by 1.5 seconds, and that's not a lot. So it's pretty close, as you can see the times. Of course, if you compare the first and the last guy, it's 1.5 seconds, but the differences are really really low between all the drivers. So I think it's just a really good qualifying session from the other guys, and not just a bad session from Bessa. But he usually has a good race pace, so let's see how it unfolds for the race.
I mean, if we look at, we'll see it later on in the podcast, the times you can see from Q1, the qualifying for F1, are quite close to the GP2 time. So, I mean, I think this is probably the one weekend on one track that probably the two different leagues are really, really, really close to each other, which is quite interesting. But if we look forward to the race results now, before we get into some action, surprise, surprise, Greek Don't Lie wins the race. Oh, blimey. He's had some, it's quite surprising, really, qualifying down there, but his race pace, I mean, Eric, is he really good on the track?
Yeah, his race pace is really good, and he really makes the difference in the race. Also, he's really consistent, and he's always been a really consistent driver. He was that last season, and that's usually, I think that's his strongest point, his consistency. And on this year's game, his pace is also really good compared to the top guys. So that's really a deadly combination, of course.
I mean, I would take my hat off to second place, Holy Sam. I think me and John agrees that Holy Sam sort of deserves that second place after the performances he's putting in the first three races. Just the nice driving and not doing anything stupid.
Yeah, he's put in quite a lot of work to get up there. So he's got a good, consistent race pace. Not too quick on over one lap, but in the race he's quite consistent. Manages to avoid the worst of accidents. and yeah, I'd say he deserves that.
And Red Tabor third. I mean, Red Tabor usually hits around third or fourth. He's consistently in that sort of position. Then TNG coming fourth. I think we'll find out what happened to him later on. Bezza fifth. Interesting sixth. So Solid seventh. What, and the lap down as well. What the hell happened there? I'll have to have a word with him when I get a chance. Tadja came 8th. Eric, you came 9th. You can discuss what really happened there quickly. We'll probably see it, but give us your quick 2 cents of what happened.
Well, as you can see, I qualified in 2nd, so I was hoping for a good start, but at the start, and we will go into that later in the broadcast, there was some incidents where I just was involved in and felt victim to, so I lost a lot of places at the start, and from there on I really was struggling to just close the gap to the guys in front, and that's basically the short summary.
And then we got Gunner Gamble 10th and Kex bringing out the rear. It's quite an interesting race result. We're kind of all switched up, but
it's interesting to see how many penalties there was.
Yes. Can see. I think Greek Don't Lie is coming out as the top driver part of the way through the first quarter of the season, I think. But anyway, let's move on to the race itself with the incidents. Let's have a look now. John, do you want to take us off?
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, wait a minute. Eric, this is your start. Want to take us through the start?
Yep, as you can see, starting from 2nd place, Platinum gets a bit better start. I mean, So Solid is also trying to go and have a look around the outside, but he just outbreaks himself a little bit, pushes Platinum wide, as it seems, and then I tried to go off into 1st place, but I got hit from the back there. I'm not sure. At that time, I was not sure who hit me, but I fell back to 10th place because of that. And now we are on board with Indrexen for his point of view. And you can see I'm trying to defend the inside line from Greek Don't Lie, which I managed to do. And I'm going for turn 2, but So Solid seems to be on the inside of me and trying to get alongside me there. And we just didn't fit with both cars through that corner. And as you can see, Indrexen had to avoid all those incidents and had to rejoin the track, but he did that in a little bit of an unsafe manner.
Yes, and here we go. I think this is in the steward's inquiry, this bit, wasn't it? Let's have a look.
Yeah, this is the point on lap 3 where I'm getting pushed wide a little bit, it seemed, by Indrexen as he made a huge dive up the inside of me, and you can see it better from his point of view. He's behind Platinum actually, who's between our cars, and braking for turn 1 here, he just completely misses his braking point, and you can see he has to run wide there at turn 1, and he just
it's a bit dangerous.
He carried too much speed into that corner.
Although from his view it didn't look like he touched you, but then you talk about the invisible box, didn't you? So it's probably one of them incidents and lag related. Yeah,
exactly. That's the hard thing about this game. You never know if it's lag or just the driver mistake. And
this incident was definitely a driver mistake from TNG.
Yeah, he was the car behind in this incident, and the car behind should always take responsibility. But I think for Platinum it was a bit difficult to, maybe there was some lag involved again, and you saw Indrek just having a little bit trouble keeping the car straight.
Yeah, it looked like he got quite a bit of wheel spin coming out of that corner, and that probably bogged him down a bit.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see the camera of Platinum, but we unfortunately don't have that. But that would make things a bit more clear, maybe, from his point of view.
Anyway, that seems. I mean, obviously, we say this to everyone every week on the podcast. You got videos? Please do record. Your videos are vital to the creation of this podcast, and it's great, to get this insight and conversation with great drivers like Eric. But let's move on to the championship standings after 4 races as we go into the break. Jonathan, I know you love the first name, so you can take it away.
Oh, thanks. So we got Dimitrios Tsakalos. I'll just leave it like that. In first with his 3rd win of the season, ahead of Bojan in 2nd. Adam in 3rd, Darren 4th, Sam 5th, Indrek 6th still, Eric 7th, Mark 8th, Flavio 9th, and Aidan 10th. Then we got Nick 11th, Dean 12th, and Andrew Wood, who still can't get on the game.
It's the patch problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Americans haven't got it yet. What a shame. Lol. But so, yeah, any real surprises at this first 4 races? If you think back to our predictions at the start.
Yeah, like I said
do you
last
think?
week, I'm surprised Indirect's down in 6th.
Eric, I mean, obviously you're 7th at the minute. Do you think you could be further up the championship at this point?
Yeah, I think you guys mentioned it at the previous broadcast that my second half of the season is usually the better half, and I tend to like those tracks a lot more than the first half of the season. So, yeah, my first tracks that I like are Canada and from Germany onwards, really. So I'm just going to try and limit the damage and just try to get as much points as possible. But yeah, usually I have a better results at the end of the season, so I hope that will happen again. Also, I think that Aiden is trying to work his way up the field a bit. He's now in 10th place in the standing, so he probably, if he can work on his consistency and carry on the good result from Bahrain, it was better than his first 3 races at least. So then I think he should be up there, maybe in the top 5 at least. So.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. I was about to say he looks like he's slowly getting used to the 100% race distance after coming from the 50%.
Yeah,
I know it seems early, but total challenge wise, top 3. Would you think the 3 or 4 which could be in it, or is it still open? It's a bit early to say this, but.
Yeah, I reckon it's open. It's going to be open till... Well, it's only going to be around Britain, Germany. You're going to see like who's going to actually be fighting for the top and fighting to stay up even.
Let's hope. Anyway, right. Move on to GP2. Oh, GP2. We actually had a lot of people this week, except for Samatas, who was the only person which could connect to anybody, which is kind of weird. That's the second week in a row that's happened, which is quite weird. But we'll work out why, because there's hardly any lag during the races and stuff. But anyway, John, you were here for this one.
Yeah.
Would you like to go through qualifying results?
Yeah. Okay. So Andrew Holmes taking a pole. I think that's his first of the season. I'm sorry if it's not, but well done anyway. So you got Takis in second. 6 tenths behind, so quite incredible that by Andrew there. 30.9. That probably would have put him quite high up in the F1 grid. Anyway, got Ollie Cart in third, Hamilton Fan fourth, Techno Elite fifth, Leon Andreas sixth, XJXJX seventh, myself eighth, Mystic Noble, newcomer to the championship, in ninth. Rapid Man 10th, and Ben Alesi got disconnected in qualifying but managed to rejoin, and he'll start at the back.
But if we look at the qualifying results, I mean, personally, I think if you look at Hamilton Fan and myself there, it's so close, and I admit I locked my wheels up going to that last corner where you can lose even just a fraction of a second, and I think it would have been maybe different, and I probably could have got 4th there, I think, but I think it's quite a strong showing by myself at this track. It's one of the tracks I like.
I think if you saw my qualifying lap, like on my video, you can see on the last corner how wide I go and how much time I lose. And I reckon if I didn't do that, I would have been in the 31.9 area, at least.
But what we got to take from this is it's the top 4 best drivers who are rising in GP2 to the top. And I think now, instead of it just being, as we all thought at the first start of the season, I remember the sign-ups, people saying Ollie will run away with it. It's not necessarily going to be the case.
No.
Well, what I think is interesting, if you look at P9 and P10, those guys are like 3 seconds off the pace from the rest of the field, and they got some good teammates, like Marcus, Rapid Man is getting Andrew as a teammate. Are they sharing their setups? I'm wondering if they can work together maybe to for the team, you know, to get Mark a bit higher up, because 3 seconds is a lot, of course. And we saw Rapid Man not that far off the pace, I think, last season in GP2.
No, he was normally there like in the points quite often.
Yeah. Maybe interesting to have a word from Andrew or who is the other guy? Andreas, his teammate of. Well, he's got a new teammate, of course, so they probably going to sort it out. But it would be nice to see those guys, a bit more competitive, so they can maybe join the midfield battle.
Yeah.
I mean, this compared to F1, I think GP2 is starting to sort of form into a distinctive. These are the top guys, these are the mid guys, and these are the back markers. But I think the back markers are slightly phased in between. It depends what track it is, really. But let's see how this race panned out, shall we? Let's look at the results. So, Eric, over to you for the results.
All right. Well, the first win of the season, if I'm correct, for Takis. So good job by him. And Ollie gets a solid second place to continue and keep his lead in the championship, probably. And in third place, in the last step of the podium, it's a Hamilton fan. It's his best result of the season, I think, so far. Good job by him. And then in fourth place, we got Bananas. And fifth place, and Techno Elite. Sixth place, XJ, that's Jay Jones. And Andrew Holmes, followed by Mystic Noble, Rabbitman, Leon Andreas, and Six. They both did not finish the race.
Yeah, I got a power cut.
Yes, that was quite funny, actually.
No, it was not funny. It was very frustrating.
There was quite a lot. I was actually recording part of the race, and on my Kindle when it got corrupted, which is quite disappointing because the race for me, from my point of view, was really, really good. It was good quality driving by everyone. There were some great battles.
And you led your first laps?
No, it's gone completely. I tried to get it up, it just wouldn't
work.
No,
I mean, in general, you led your first laps.
Yeah, I did lead. This is the first I've ever led. I led the first quarter of the race with quite a 2 or 3 second gap. The problem was my tyres were decaying off, and I made a mistake going to that very, very horrible left-hander. The sort of off-camber left hairpin, which catches a lot of people out. But I suppose what you're going to do, I mean, it's like I've got 5th place in nearly every single race bar one so far, so I'm not really complaining.
Yeah, consistency is key, as we've been saying.
Yeah, but anyway, let's have a look at the race start, shall we? And here we go, from Ollie's point of view. He wants to get over to a bit of a Vettel to stop Hamilton fan on the right. But just keep your eye on Hamilton fan, if I remember rightly at the start. I mean Hamilton fan, Andrew Holmes loses a bit at the back. It seems like a clean start, but something drastically. I think Hamilton fan hits him in a minute, if I remember rightly. I mean, it's a good pass there on the right. Andrew Holmes goes wide. And here we go. This is the corner. I mean, this caused problems all weekend. You need to back off, and Andrew Holmes.
Yeah.
I think we all agree you need to back off there.
I think that's the 50-50, to be honest. Obviously, it would help if we saw it from Andrew's point of view, but with only one camera, we can't really come to a conclusion on that, I don't think.
Here we go, from a backmarker's point of view.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's me.
Go on, take us through what
Right, so down to the first corner. Braking in good time. Nice, clean first corner. No contact.
Yeah, and GP2 doing a better job than F1 here.
Yeah. So then go round the outside of Mystic Noble. Coming up to turn 4. Behind Leon Andreas, having a little look, backing out of that bit. And then just go into the back of him, losing the back end a bit. Mystic Noble gets down the inside. And this is where the incident happens.
Probably lag involved again here. I mean, either it's a really stupid move or there's lag. And I think most of the drivers on race department really have good judgment. And that corner is just not an overtaking spot anyway. And to go side by side through that is just impossible.
Yeah,
really,
I mean,
so.
I didn't have any more room left to go off any further wide. But as you see, I'm just knocking me over a bit more there.
I mean, I think it's probably 6 and 10 of a dozen that. But besides that, it was quite a quiet race. But it was good. There was good, clean action all the way through. It's a shame because at the end, I think was Benelli's or something run out of fuel, and he had really bad tyres, and I was gaining him at the end. It was quite heart-stopping on the final lap, catching him to just get that 5th place. I think I passed him on the straight before the start and finish line. So, come out the last corner, it was good. But anyway, let's have a look at the championship standings. Surprise, surprise, really. Ollie Peacock won the race after Andrew Holmes got a penalty for, I think it was the last few laps. He got a 10-second penalty, which really knocked him back down the grid.
It was Takis who won, wasn't it? It was Edmus.
No, but I mean, on top of the championship.
Oh, you said won the race, so.
No, sorry, my mistake. Sorry, Takis. But yeah, anyway, I mean, as you can see, the top 3, Ollie Peacock, Andrew Holmes, and Takis. That is Demetrius. This is Takis.
Yeah.
It's close. It's close. I mean, 52 and 60. He's only a win behind, really.
Yeah, Ben Milden's on 52 as well.
Then you get the clear distinction between the midfield with myself down to Jay Jones. It's going to be close, that fight. I mean, Sam Brown's dragged himself back up. But if we look further down, I mean, there's some great drivers in the bottom, real bottom.
Especially in P9.
Yes, you've kept yourself there in P9, which is fantastic.
To be honest, I reckon I would have been there even if I did finish the race. So I don't think I would have got many. I wouldn't have been much higher than 8th.
But if we look at the bottom half, Shahib Ali, he was a good driver in the last season. He hasn't started a race yet.
Ross, American, so still hasn't got the patches.
Thomas Helmer, TH, he's always seems to be online. We're trying to get him. He doesn't want to come, if that makes sense. It's
yes.
weird.
I think you need to phrase it a bit better than that next time.
See what some of the kids were at primary school. They don't come over here. They put it CUM instead of COME. It's quite funny. It's quite a giggle when you mark it work.
Your maturity levels.
Shut up. Anyway, I mean, is there Eric? Does it say 80? Because you do the championship standings. Is a little mistake there with the 1 and 2 and Caterham Mercedes?
Yeah, that's right. I made a little mistake. I think Caterham is in 3rd place actually, so it's Mercedes leading the constructors at the moment.
Yeah.
The points are right. It's just the position. So Caterham should be moved down to 3rd there.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's also not much GP2 to talk about this week, but it was one of those races. But next, we are going to Spain, sunny Spain. I mean, Catalunya. What do you think of the track, guys? Honest opinions. You know mine. I've voiced it many times on these podcasts.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a track that I feel like I'm decent at. I prefer the old layout in the last few corners. But I just find I can't concentrate on it for more than half an hour, if that. I just find it such a boring track, but I seem alright at it.
Eric, what do you think?
For me it's a bit I like some corners, but the rest is shit, to quote Kimi. But yeah, it's I don't really like Sector 3. I think the rest of the track is okay, but it's not one of my favorites. As I tend to like the tracks that are really wide and where you can live with understeer, and the tracks like Spa and Korea and stuff. So that's more the tracks I like, and the Catalonian track is a bit narrow for me, at least, and there are not really that much overtaking spots, only 2 to be exact, and those are even tricky to get right. So, I really like the tracks where you can battle and have a lot of overtaking and stuff. So,
yeah,
true. I agree. I actually don't mind Spain. I mean, we had the classic incident last year. Myself, you see in the intro, that was very spectacular.
Best one of the year.
It was a great accident.
Very often you say an accident's great, but yeah.
was quite spectacular. We'll have to find the video and put that up in the
Review.
review, just for posterity's sake. But I mean, the whole of this track, there's a lot of time that could be won or lost just by simply just changing down a gear or lifting off, because there's no real heavy braking zones on this track until you get to the last bit where they put that really Mickey Mouse chicane in, which is for safety reasons. But I think someone just did it because they were bored, really.
Yeah, it's like a bit of artwork. You think, oh, that looks nice, but it's missing something, and you just miss a round of it, and it comes out worse.
I mean, especially in the old F1 games, I remember just trying to hang the car in there going through the old part of the track, because you had to really fight the car. It was great. I mean, a lot of F1 drivers have complained they missed the old part of the track in real life as well.
Mm.
But anyway, right, Eric, would you kindly like to take us through the track guide?
All right. As we are on board with the Williams driver for a lap on Catalunya, he just comes around the final corner here on straight, up to 7th gear, and DRS wide open, of course, in qualifying, and if you are 1 second behind the driver in front in the race, and braking for turn 1 here. It's going to be an interesting start, I think, as the track really gets narrowed down here, and it's really crowdy at the start usually. Now into turn 3, it's a difficult corner for the aerodynamics of the car. You need a lot of downforce, and then you can maybe turn flat out through that corner. And turn 4 here opens up on the exit, so be early on the throttle. Downhill braking here for turn 5, and going downhill here to this turn 7 and 8 chicane. And it's easy to lose the rear there, so you have to be careful. Coming up to turn 9 now, a blind right-hander, and the exit is very important, as this is the other straight of the track, where you can gain a lot of time if you push hard. And turn 10 here, an overtaking spot in the race, and a really difficult braking zone as well to get that right. And now into the last section of the track, where mechanical grip and traction is really key here. And the little Mickey Mouse chicane, as Aaron mentioned earlier, is really a place where you can win or lose a lot of time. So the exit is important, and onto the longest straight of the track, the DRS zone in the race, and that is the best overtaking spot for the race.
Thank you, Eric. Very nicely done.
All right.
Very, very nicely done. Right, anyway, we've got some other news as well. We've got some driver changes in F1. Dimitrios Taskalos is now with Aiden Lucas at Sauber. Maybe they can get some good work going together. But that's it for this week. Do we have preview and predictions for the Spain race, guys? Who do you think is going to come up on top?
Yeah.
Top 3. Eric, you can't include yourself in that. That's the rules.
Well, I've seen Dimi in the past seasons, and he's really strong at this track. I think last season he did not start. He missed that race, but first season in GP2 I raced with him here, and he's really quick here. So I'm going for Dimi for the win, and I'm thinking of Red Tabor in second, and Adam So Solid in third place.
You, John, what do you think?
Dimi, Bojan and Eric. And Indrek even. Sorry, Eric.
That's fair enough. GP2, I think probably all agree on there could be maybe 1 or 2 shocks, but it's going to be between the top 3 again. Top 3 or 4, Hamilton Fan, Taskalos, Ollie, and maybe Andrew Holmes. I think we could probably all agree on that, can't we?
Yeah, and Ben Milden.
Oh yeah, maybe Ben Milden as well.
Yeah, he's quite consistent.
Yeah. I think Andrew really needs to fight back and regain some points, because else Ollie is going to run away with it, and we don't want that, of course. Sorry, Ollie. We want an exciting championship. So.
Yeah, Ollie could just slow down at the end and lose a few places if he wanted to. Yeah, just to make it interesting for everyone else.
Just don't do the finger, mate. That's all we ask. Don't do the finger. Right, that's it. Everyone stay tuned. That's it for this week. We'll stay tuned for the first full race review. We'll bring you outtakes, bloopers, and hilarity. Eric, you'll be rejoining us for that, I hope.
Yep, hopefully. And thanks for inviting me for this little podcast. I'm really enjoying you guys and the work you guys are doing this season. So keep it up.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
also,
thanks.
we'll be inviting Ollie as well, Ollie Carr, and maybe we'll have Adam Morris on as well
And
to talk
maybe
about the different
Sam. Yeah.
permutations. Oh, and Holy Sam as well. Oh, how can we miss Holy Sam? And maybe if we're nice,
Holy
I'll
Sam.
have a quick drink. Darren Bentley as well. Thank you very much for listening, guys. This is the Jonathan Seeks and Aaron Wilkinson production for Race Department. So it's goodbye from him.
And goodbye from him.
And goodbye from Eric. We'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Our data's showing that the car ahead's likely to be running in fuel conservation mode. His times will be slightly slower than normal. We might need to think about moving to fuel mix mode 2 in the next few laps. There's a Toro Rosso just in front of you. Go for the overtake.